Meet Codename Goose, your on-machine open-source AI agent, built to automate your tasks. Codename Goose is an intelligent and autonomous agent capable of handling complex tasks thanks to its core features. Connect with apps and tools you already use with extensions. Built on the Model Context Protocol, you can connect to extensions like GitHub, integrate JetBrains IDEs, access Google Drive, or build your own custom integrations for Goose. For a curated list of extensions, visit our docs. With a wide range of compatible large language model providers, you can choose and integrate your preferred model. You can also run Goose as a desktop app or through the command line interface using the same configurations across both. You can think of Goose as an assistant, ready to take your instructions and do the work for you. Able to handle a wide range of tasks across various engineering domains. Here are examples of tasks Goose has helped people with already. Goose has helped dive into a new project in an unfamiliar coding language, conduct code migrations such as Ember to React or Ruby to Kotlin, increase code coverage, and even generate unit tests for a feature, and much more. To get started using Goose right away, check out our Quick Start and be the first to know about upcoming features by joining our community.
Hi everyone, how are you doing today? So today we're going to talk about Agent Client Protocol. This is a new protocol. I know we're coming out with like protocols like all the time now, like after MCP. But this is a newer, more cutting edge protocol, and I want to put you all onto it. I'm going to start with like a quick little slide deck just to introduce you to the idea of it, and then we're going to like go through the setup and use it as well. So, hey Ace, and hey Jeffrey, I saw that you put the notification at 10 p.m. I hope you was still able to tune in. But all right, let me get started into this part and then we will start building as well. All right, so again, today we're going to talk about Agent Client Protocol. I have a couple of questions for y'all just for like audience interaction. But first off, I want to know like what's y'all's favorite AI agent, or maybe you have different AI agents that you use for different types of like situations or tasks. Feel free to tell me in the chat. But for me, my favorite is Goose. Of course, I'm biased because Block developed Goose. However, I do think it's a really rich it has a really rich feature set, and it was in a very, very, very early adopter of MCP. It's really, really flexible because it gives you a CLI and the UI. It's LLM agnostic, and then you also have the ability to do these reusable, shareable AI workflows, which not a lot of AI agents do, where you can basically just save that AI workflow and be able to share it with other people. My other question to you, and you guys are going to be able to see why I'm even asking these questions, is like, what's your favorite IDE? And let me see if y'all put your favorite agent. Okay, nobody said anything, but that's all right. My favorite IDE for me is really just like VS Code or Cursor. Cursor, I'm leaning more towards. It's really just a clone of VS Code, but I want to like stay at like see what new features come out in Cursor and VS Code, just because it's really universal as a platform and it works really well with JavaScript and stuff like that. But now we have this discrepancy of where your AI agents live versus the editor that you use. So my AI agent, or Goose, it basically lives in a desktop app that's made with Electron and a CLI. But my coding workflow, I'm curious for y'all, like what does that look like for you when you're working with an AI agent and your editor as well? Because my workflow is a little bit fragmented sometimes, right? So I prefer using the UI for Goose, that Electron app. So I tend to have either like VS Code open in one window and then Goose opened in another. And I work real weird. I know people like using their like multiple monitors. I like using just like my laptop, and I'm like crouched over, like hunched back on my crisscross applesauce on my couch or whatever. I know I'm gonna have like crazy back pain when I'm older for this, but that's how I like to work. But what ends up happening is I have to keep like context switching. Like Goose makes a change, and then I go back to VS Code to like manually type what I need to do or review the work, or that kind of sometimes encourages me to end up having a bad workflow where I just like say like, all right, whatever, like I'll just let AI add a whole bunch of stuff and not review the code until we get to like um the part where I actually need to commit or make a PR. And at that time, by that time, it's like multiple lines of code, and it kind of interrupts my flow, right? And every like what we notice is that every AI agent kind of lives in a different type of world. Like depending on your workflow, they just have different spaces, right? So Goose is in the CLI and desktop, Cursor's in the cursor editor, Claude Code has a CLI, Lovable and like Devin and stuff like that, they live in the browser, Copilot's tied to VS Code. So they're all tied to these different sections. And we're almost creating almost like a browser war, but for AI agents, because everyone's building their own custom solutions. And we already started mitigating this with MCP, where we allowed any AI agent to connect to any application or data, but the problem still stands where developers have all these different custom workflows. Maybe somebody likes to work within their editor, maybe somebody wants to work within their terminal and stuff like that. And our workflows are super important because we need to be in that like deep focus mode to actually be productive. At least I do. I don't know about y'all, but like when I'm like halfway paying attention or I'm distracted, if I open up a browser to use Lovable, I'm also going to open up a browser to check LinkedIn and be like, "Oh, who got laid off? Who got a new job?" Okay? So that level of distraction isn't great for me. And you might say like a simple solution is just bring your AI agents into an editor to help please developers is just making like a plugin or a VS Code extension, which we have done on the Goose team, right? However, it's really hard to maintain these things because the IntelliJ plugin that we developed and the VS Code extension have been really side projects from people that are not necessarily directly on the Goose team, but they're invested and they want to help out. But what happens is every time Goose gets a new release, we have to essentially update that VS Code extension or that IntelliJ plugin. And if we end up not doing it in time, developers are upset. Like they're like, I really want to use this extension, but it's not working. It doesn't have the new features. There's like breaking changes, etc., etc. And this is like really annoying, right? It's not sustainable for us to keep up with, and it's not a valuable experience for developers who want to use Goose or whatever AI agent they have within their editor. Oh, and Michael, you said you like Goose and VS Code? Okay, I see you. That's what I like too. Perfect. All right, so where agent client protocol comes in is ACP, which is like agent client protocol stands for ACP, is basically a standard language for how editors and agents talk to each other. It was created by the company Zed Industries. They essentially created the Z code editor, and it solved the problem that we talked about. So instead of like you want to bring your agent into your editor, and instead of you having to like continue to have these really custom integrations and update it every time the agent gets updated, now you have to update your VS Code extension or your IntelliJ plugin or whatever it is. Now you basically have a standard for how your agent will communicate with your editor. So Basically, it's a common protocol, and it uses JSON RPC, which means they just basically talk to each other in structured messages instead of these like one-off APIs. And this makes your AI agents editor agnostic. If the editor supports ACP and your agent supports ACP, they can both go together. So here's what's basically happening. When an editor launches an agent, it doesn't know anything about Goose's code base or its internal APIs. They're just exchanging a series of messages. Usually the initialized message usually says like, hey, here's what I have to offer. Like Goose is saying that, or whatever AI agent. It's like, I can create sessions, I support audio, I do this, I do that. And then the editor's like, okay, got you. Like maybe it said saying got you. Now I know how to proceed with this. And then if the user creates a new session, your agent will tell Zed, oh, I want to start a new conversation. And if a user makes a prompt, then your agent will tell Zed, here's what the user is requesting. Rizel wants to like create a web app, or Rizel wants to write some tests. And then if the agent has a response, it'll tell the editor, hey, here's my response to Rizel on how to build that. And the editor like puts that out there. And then if there was like a cancellation, or like I will say, oh, forget that prompt, and I hit like the stop button on the editor, then that's communicated between the agent and the editor as well. So that's just a really quick primer. The ACP support right now, or the landscape right now, is like Zed, NeoVim, Marimo, and JetBrains is working on it. It said coming soon on the website. And then the agents that support it right now, I was really surprised, is Claude Code, Codex CLI, Gemini, something called StackPack, which I'm not familiar with. Then we have Junie, which is like the AI agent for JetBrains, or the one that JetBrains built. And then you have Goose as well. So I'm gonna end this before we jump into some like just setup and everything, is that like ACP is really a win for everyone. For open source projects, ACP is essentially leveling the playing field, because you don't have to build an entire editor or a plugin or extension or whatever just to give people a good agent experience. You can really just focus on building that community and continue to innovate, because your editor will get that communication of its updates anyways. And then for proprietary tools, you might be like, man, why would they want this? But I think it's valuable for them too, because if developers can really plug their agent into any environment, it means you get more users, less friction, faster adoption. Because if I'm like, I like using Cursor and I want to use Codex as well, like the Codex, like I want to use the Cursor editor, but I want to use the Codex agent, and they both supported ACP, I can just easily plug them in there. I stay a user. I don't have to leave or choose between one or the other. So Goose, Claude Code, Zed, and Codex have adopted ACP. So my last question to y'all is, who will be next? All right. So we're gonna move into like actually coding, but I just seen Michael's message. He said crisscross applesauce. Oh my gosh, same. My workflow needs help. Like the UI overall experience of Goose Desktop. So I'm swiping. Yeah, I literally do that all the time. Like I'm just like swiping back and forth. I'm like, okay, what did Goose say? Okay, what did VS Code say? And it's crazy. So, all right, what we're going to do is we're going to set up Goose, ACP, Zed, all that good stuff. I think I'm going to exit this just so it's out my way. And let's pull up Zed. I am not a Zed user. I used it like once or twice, maybe last week or 2 weeks ago. So forgive me if I'm a little lost on here sometimes. But I think this is really exciting that they've led the way with support for this. I'm gonna zoom in. I don't know if the zoom changed anything for you. First thing I had to add in the settings of Zed is, let's get these settings open. I think it was settings file. Yes, here we go. First thing I had to add, let's zoom in here. All right, I think you guys can see this, is there's this like area for agent servers. There's an object or whatever you want to call it, right? And I can list that I want to use Goose. The command I'm going to run is called Goose ACP, and then there's no like environment variables. I could literally just call this anything. This is just a string, but I'm letting it know that like you want when you listen for like the initialization, you're going to be listening for Goose ACP. This is going to start like a process on my computer through like standard in, standard out. Okay, so next thing I want to do is I'm going to actually switch my Goose. Let's use the CLI really quick. For me right now, I'm on like the company's like tooling or like provider. I actually need to switch to Open Router. So then you guys will get to see that process as well. So I'm going to say Goose configure, and I will say I want to configure my provider. I will say I want, where's Open Router at? Here you are. Open Router, I already have API key. I like, okay, I should go to Cloud Sonnet 4.5, but I really still like Cloud Sonnet 4 right now. So I'm just going to go there. So I'm going to pick that, and then I should be able to run, clear is what I mean to write. I should be able to write Goose ACP, and now the Goose ACP agent has started listening on standard out. And then once that happens, I can click these. I don't know if you could really see this that well, but there's this little sparkle star thing here that's called the agent panel. And I should be able to open this up. And new Goose thread. Here we go. All right, let's just say hey to see that it's working. Hey. And Goose should respond back in there saying, hey, like, I'm Goose. Cool. I think it did respond. Perfect. All right, so for the project I want to do, I'm going to do some small stuff. Because I only want to be here for 30 to 45 minutes. And I think sometimes I end up like doing too much, and then I never finish. Like I'm always like, oh, I'm gonna do this really big project on a live stream, and then I don't need to finish, but I want to like show something. Can I minimize my chat view? Oh, it's in the way. You know what? I don't think that StreamYard is flexible like that, but I can just take it off the stage. You're right, because that's in the way of you seeing this. So for now, we don't need to see chats. Thank you so much for saying that. Craig on Discord said, Zed gets better and better. I'm interested in working with ACP and Goose within Zed. Yeah, I'm not privy to it. Let me know, like, what's the cool stuff? Like, should I be switching over to Zed rather than VS Code and Cursor? I'm just used to it. Tanya said, my ID, by the way, is still VS Code, but I haven't used other options. Yeah, I used to use IntelliJ sometimes. But like I don't know, maybe because I'm like I write like JavaScript mostly. VS Code's just been the one that worked. You get carried away. Wait, what do I get carried? I do get when I code, yes. When I do a live stream, I do get carried. I get so carried away. I'd be like, oh my God, maybe I'll add this. All right, so I made a little list for myself so I could stay on track. Small things that I could do. I'll show you guys. All right. So there's just like a couple of stuff that I've been like, oh, I want to add this to like the Goose documentation website. And like we'll just try to do it one by one. Like I'm like, if I get to this, I'll do it. If not, whatever. The first thing is I wanted the Goose documentation page or just the Goose site in general to have a place where people could find our logos. I obviously could make this myself, but I'm like, let me pick an easy thing. Just grab our logos really quickly, because what I've found now that I'm helping to like start events and all that, or not start events, but plan events and like coordinate sponsorships, is that people keep asking, can I have your logo? And I'm like, I'm lazy. I don't want to do that. I can't believe Tanya probably has to do that all the time. So I'm like, it could be cool to just lead people to the link, rather than me downloading it or looking through my downloads and be like, all right, where's our SVG? You know what I mean? So let me show y'all what I mean. Like some just in case you don't know, like some places have, I'm gonna go to GitHub. I always go to GitHub for everything. Some places have the little like logos and usage thing. So we have this. I don't think I'm gonna go too hard on like the please do, please don't. We can add that like in the future, but I just want to give people like, here's what to download if you want our logos. So I'm gonna let's try that. So first off, let me show y'all what our site looks like. I don't know why I always have index.html here. All right, so I think I'm just going to like add a like quick link or something like that in the footer that says logos, maybe in more, I don't know, but something that just says logos really quickly, and then we can like go from there. So first thing I actually want to do, how do you get the terminal up in here? View terminal? Here we go. I want to run, oh, we're not even in a project. Ugh. Okay, let's start this over. Not start this over, but I want to open up the Goose repository. Pulled it up over here. Let's exit this and let's start a new little panel thingy. And I'll zoom in again, I guess. Or I guess it looks kind of big-ish. I don't know. All right, so my terminal again. Terminal. I don't know. I think I accidentally one day set this to say you have mail, or maybe I was like doing like a Great Goose Off thing, but I always think it's I just left it because I think it's funny. All right, so I want to cd into the documentations directory, and then I'm going to do yarn start, and we're going to pray that I don't get carried away. We're already at 22 minutes. I talked that much. Okay, I'm going to do up to like 40 something minutes, maybe 45 minutes. All right, so we got this running. Wow, I'm really a yapper. Okay, so now I'm going to tell Goose I want to create, this is just my process. I want to just tell it ahead of time, like what's my plan. I want to create a page where we show, no, I'm going to tell it. We're in the Goose repo. Because sometimes it just be forgetting. We're in the Goose repository right now. I want to create a page. Ooh, wait, there's one more thing I want to double check. Here's a limitation. I don't know if we have the Chrome Developer Tools extension activated, but let me just ask it. Let me just tell it to dynamically do it. Let's see what happens. We're in the Goose directly repository right now. I want to create a page that shows our logos so people can download it. You can use, give me a starter layout. No, not starter. Give me a page with dummy images for now that fits our current site's theme. And you can use the Chrome Developer Tools MCP server if you want to debug and see what the site looks like. I don't know. I feel like Goose is going to start spinning, so I just want to double check that it's actually enabled. It could dynamically enable it, but I don't have time for that. Okay, it's enabled. It's enabled. All right, so we're going to say enter, and let's see what happens. Okay, so it said, I'll help you create logos for the Goose repository. Let me help you by, whoa, we went real fast. Exploring the current site structure and theme, and then create dummy images that fit the existing design. Perfect. So it's check-in. Cool. So you can see it's a dark theme with a black background. That's exactly what we want. I was hoping that it will be the only I have a concern that it went to the install link generator, so I'm actually just going to stop it. Oh, hold on. First let me check the documentation site structure if there's yeah, okay. Never mind. Let me not stop it. Let me let it keep cooking. I just got a little concerned. I'm like, where are you going? We need to be in the documentation directory right now. It's still thinking, still doing things. One thing I had discovered with Zed is there's like this track agent button, but I haven't figured out how to use it. So I guess it would like show me kind of like in live share, like, oh, what is the agent changing? But I don't see it doing that. I think I just have some kind of I don't know. I'm just not familiar with how Zed really works. So let me see what it did. Why is it writing to the install link generator? That's concerning. All right. We'll see what happens. And then I'll just tell it, like, hey, we need to move this. I want it in the documentation directory. Let me check my initial prompt. Maybe I left that part out. Oh, yeah, I did. That was me. All right. I did leave it out. Okay, but let's see what it creates. Maybe it'll be something cute. And I'm going to just stop it because what's the point? Okay, I have no patience. So actually, I did not want this in the install link generator area. I wanted this in the documentation directory, which is a Docusaurus site. Like, let's not waste my tokens on this. Yes, I do want that as it. Thank you, Goose. I wasn't explicit with it, and it's fair because there's like a whole bunch of directories in here, so or like folders, so it was just like trying its best. But don't waste my open router tokens on that. Cool. And it's checking for logo files. So even though I said dummy files, it might put the logos that I want in there and it makes my life a little bit easier. There's a lot of, while we're waiting, there's a lot of other stuff I wanted to do, or I could show you stuff that I've done. Is this is something, it's a small change, but impactful. A lot of the advice around making good documentation nowadays is how can your AI agent or your AI tool also pull in that information? Because now people are not necessarily always using Google, or even on Google, there's that AI, like you ask a question, I don't know, and there's that AI mode, right? So you want the AI agent to have that popping up first, and ways to make like it easily get information is by having your documentation pages support either doing .md at the end, or it's both, not just either, but I'll show you guys with like Claude Code or Cursor docs. If I do tab and then .md, you can see that turns into a markdown file, which makes it really easy for the AI like agent or tool or whatever to navigate. And then they also have this copy page thing, and like it copies it into like markdown for you. So I already did a first step of basically adding this copy page thing and like it paste it as markdown, which I was having a good time with. I should have been doing like my other work, but I was like, let me do this. All right, so it looks like Goose did a little bit. It started it on the localhost 3001. Even though I had localhost 3000 going, maybe I confused it a little bit. And all right, let me ask it. Let me interrupt it. Or let me see what it did. How do you don't need to run. And I usually have a Goose hint for this. I think I took it out, where I usually tell it like, don't do any like npm run or npm runs, like dev start, yarn start, whatever it is, because I'll just ask me to do it, because that's a blocking command for Goose. It can't do anything after that. So I'm gonna say you don't need to run the development server for me. I can run it myself. I already have it running on localhost 3000. If you ever need to check anything, use the Chrome Dev Tools MCP server. How do I navigate to the logos page? Is there a route that I should use that you built? Okay, let's see what happens. Wow, I did not have time for all those grand plans that I had made. Okay, so it thinks that it doesn't have that extension, that MCP server enabled. But this is interesting. Okay, it looks like there's a network issue. So I tried to use Playwright. I really like the Chrome DevTools extension, but that's fine. Okay. Oh, so it's at logos, /logos. Let's see it. Wait. Why is it at localhost 3000 logos and not Goose logos? That doesn't sound right. Let's see. Ugly-ish to me. Nice try, but kind of ugly. All right, so cool. It's just, I think the green, like I just want to keep it with the black and white. And let me tell it a page that it could probably look at. I think it took it from when it did the install link generator, which I think is this, which is like kind of basic, you know? Let's have it. It really could look at anything. I'll just tell it I'm not really liking the green and the bubbles. Okay, so what's in this to do right that's happening here? Let's see. All right. I also wish I could know like how much context limit is here. Maybe they'll add that in the future. Like where am I in my context window? Do I need to create a new session? Is this just happening as is? Whatever. But okay. So let's add a link for the logos in the footer. We can put it under more. I like saying we. We're doing this together. Put it under more. And I'm curious also where this change happened. Source. Okay, cool. So maybe that's what I was going to say that's what the follow does. So it created this logo.tsx page so I can actually get a chance to look at it and tell it what things I wanted to change. We got 10 more minutes. All right. So I can put it under more. Also, the page is like not, it doesn't match the Goose Docusaurus site that much. It has a lot of green and circle borders on buttons. Why doesn't it try? I wonder if I spelled the Chrome DevTools MCP server thing wrong. Let me see how I have it listed. Oh, I have it like one word. Try using the Chrome DevTools MCP server. And I'll tell it to take a look at a specific page. I just don't know which one I really wanted to look at. Okay, let's tell it look at this. To take a look at an example design like this, and maybe who else has like a good Docker? Yeah, Docker has a cute one, I think. Logos. Like, I just want something simple. That's not simple. I'll just tell it, look at the GitHub one. GitHub logos. And take a look at this just for overall layout inspiration. Okay, let's see what happens. I feel like my prompts are taking real long. I'm usually like a one sentence person. I don't know if the experience is a little different. Okay, cool. It used the Chrome DevTools MCP server just now. I think because I had spaces in the word, it was like, I can't find that MCP server. Let's see what it's doing behind this. Oh, it's taking a screenshot. I'm probably messing it up. Hold on. Go ahead, take your screenshot, Goose. That's another thing. I'm not sure how it works. Can it just capture it without me? It seems Chrome might not be visible. Oh, it's using computer controller. Not what I wanted. Interesting. Listen, when I'm not on a live stream, Chrome DevTools is like seriously the truth. It really like does so much for me. It's like good at debugging, seeing the exact style and all that. So that's what I wanted to use, but I guess uh-oh, I've returned. Let's see what happens. All right. So what does it say? People say you're not supposed to add try to a prompt, but I do that all the time. I've never heard of that. You're not supposed to say try? Interesting. So I'm gonna try to take that out of um my like prompts. I don't know. I say try all the time. I'm like trying to be a little nice. I'm like, how about you try doing that? I wonder if I even used it just now. I don't even remember. But I don't know where you guys left off since my computer froze. There was just too much going on, like too much running. All right, so let's see. It said that whoa, let's collapse a lot of this. I don't care about a lot of this. Maybe saying try makes the agent want to ask us to do it. They also say don't say can you. Oh man, this is tough. I already took out the pleases. Oh, but y'all don't see me when I'm not on the live stream. I get frustrated with like Goose or whatever AI agent. I feel like I'm a little mean. Like I'm like, what's the problem? Get it together. All right, so let's see what it did. So review the changes above. Yeah, but I cannot read it in this. I like to see the highlight syntax and all that. And I want to see like what prompt or what communication you had. So you did this. Now let me completely rewrite the logos page. Okay. Review the changes above, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'll review it later. It added the footer configuration. Okay. All right. Where is that footer configuration that it added? I found it right here, logos. And then, oh, we're on 40 minutes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm really gonna wrap at 45 minutes because I don't want to keep y'all here forever. So I think I was saying earlier that it still didn't use the Chrome DevTools MCP server. I'm really not sure why. Like it's literally like my favorite MCP server. I use it all the time, but I guess it's just shy on live streams. All right, so now that we did this part, maybe it's done. Yep, it says it's done. So all the stuff that it did, it's under logos. It says it picks the theme matching. Wait, I said I don't want green. All right, whatever. I'll change that on my own after the live stream. Whatever. It uses the actual logos. Cool. Did you listen to me at all? Let's see. Moment of truth. We got the logos thing. Okay, it took off the green. And it didn't necessarily get the real logos it thinks it did. I still don't like this like bubble format. I actually tried this before, you guys. Oh, it does have green right here. I actually tried this before the live stream, and we had a really good like theme going on. It looked professional. It was real good. So I was like, this is like the one I want to do and like just continue on it. But that's okay. Within these next 4 minutes, I think I'm going to tell it like, let's make this look less childlike. Yes. So I don't want this to look childlike. This is a professional page. Take the emojis out. No rounded borders. No green. Layout is really, really bad. Maybe I want to create a new session, but whatever. The layout is not ideal at all. This should have, let me guide it a little bit more. What should we say? I think I want it to be like, we don't need the code name Goose. All right. So we only need, and I think we should like use Flexbox or something. It should be like side by side. So maybe like one box, like one row will have 2 boxes. Should have one box, should have like 2 rows with 2 columns for each logo. And then first row will have like, what am I trying to say? I'm trying not to say can and all of that. First row will have the Goose Dark Mode logo and offer it as an SVG and the PNG. Honestly, we only even need 2 rows with 2 columns, 1 row. Yeah. This should have 2 columns, 1 row. And then first boxes? I don't know. First box will have like, what am I trying to say? First box will have the dark mode logo with 2 buttons that say, I gave it way too much creative authority. Bad job, Goose. 2 buttons that say, oh my god, 30 seconds. No, let me just write my prompt and then I'll leave for real. First box will have two buttons that say PNG and SVG. Second box will have a light mode logo with two buttons. What are you typing? Buttons that say PNG and SVG. All right. However it turns out, whatever, I'll leave and I'll work on this another day, but or offline or whatever, you know what I mean? But this is what I want to do. I really am curious, like, can I see the session inside of Goose or something like that to see how much context I'm using up? History? Nope. It's not there. Interesting. Because I'm like, I wonder if I'm like using up the context window. Now Goose is like doing kind of dumb stuff. All right, here we go. Here we go. So it said, you're absolutely right. I know I am. Let me create a clean professional logos page with two simple column layout, no unnecessary styling. That's what I'm talking about. Get the ugly styling out of here. I mean, maybe somebody thought it was cute, but not me. Now let me completely rewrite the CSS. You know what it needed to do? It needs to use Tailwind, I think. Because I think the rest of this app is using Tailwind. But let's see what's happening behind the scenes. All right, here we go. We got, this is just what I wanted. I just wanted these two boxes, but I gave it too much. And like the buttons are not exactly how our buttons look, but I can tell it to do that. I can tell it to pull in the SVG. Oh my gosh. I wish you guys could see this. Dang it. Okay, on my other screen, I never noticed this, but like when Goose was finished, it gave me a notification and it says Goose is finished, view panel. I'm like, that's cool. The little notification, not from Goose, but from Zed. So I guess like Goose like communicated through JSON RPC and put that out there. All right. So we did a little bit. As we see, lessons learned is I needed to be a little bit more specific. I thought like let me give Goose some creative authority. I'm not the best at like creativity or at design, so I was letting it, but I'm like, no, I just really want this to be basic AF. So later on, what I can do, since we're at 47 minutes, I'm really going overtime, is I'm going to tell it to do a couple of things. I want Goose to be lowercase because that's our brand guidelines. It has to be lowercase. And change to like the buttons that we typically use. Kind of like, no, that's not the buttons we use. That's not the buttons we use. How come I don't know where they are right now? But we have like our own like particular buttons. You know what I mean? We have our way of doing things. So it didn't exactly copy those. Maybe Recipe Cookbook got it. Here we go. I don't know. But basically I wanted to like copy like those type of buttons that we have. I think it's more like this. Like it should be like white and oops, sorry. It should be white when we're in dark mode and it should be black. Okay, so it is black when we're in light mode. And then I think these buttons are rounded. I just told it to stop rounding stuff altogether, but it should have those rounded. I think maybe I'll tell it, look at the extensions page or the recipe generator page for a little bit more like insight. And then I'll tell it literally to like go grab the Goose logos because they're within that code base. Grab it, put it in there, we're good to go. And for anyone who like tuned in and they were like, what exactly is ACP? Long and short of the story is it's a way to basically use Goose natively in your editor. And a few of the editors that support this right now are like Zed, JetBrains is starting to, and a couple of agents that are using this are Codex, Cursor, etc., etc. But I've gone on too long. Thanks so much for tuning in, y'all. One thing I do want to let you guys know, I'm big. I don't like that. One thing I do want to let you guys know is we're running a hackathon right now, and you'll see more details about it in the outro. But you should definitely sign up to get a little bit of coin. All right, that's it. Bye, y'all.